2023-24. Before the competition starts, let me throw some highlights on today's competition. The debate will be competed among the four houses, namely Netaji House, Raman House, Shivaji House, and Tagore House. Two participants from each house will be speaking for the motion of the house, and two participants from each house will be speaking against the motion of the house. Altogether, 16 competitors will share their views on the motion of the house. In each category, for junior division, the topic selected by the house is e-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. Before we proceed further, let me brief about the rules and regulations of the competition. All contestants will be assessed on 5 parameters. They are content, 20 points, pronunciation, 10 points, assertion and confidence, 5 points, fluency and voice modulation, 10 points, rebuttal, 5 points, and the total mark is 50 points. Duration given to each speaker is 5 minutes. At the end of the 4 minutes, a warning bell will be given like this. At the end of the 5 minutes, a final bell will be rung like this. A time of 2 minutes will be given for rebuttal to the first 2 speakers. The warning bell will be given at the end of the first minute, and the second bell will be marked the end of the duration given for the rebuttal. Today's judges are Mr. Longjam Sushil Kumar, Sir, Lecturer English, Ibo Tonsana Girls Higher Secondary School, Mrs. Lobesori, Ma'am, Lecturer Biology, Ibo Tonsana Girls Higher Secondary School, Mrs. Bigita, Ma'am, Lecturer English, Ibo Tonsana Girls Higher Secondary School. Today's scorer are Mr. L. Amuba, Sir, TGT Maths, Sainik School Imphal, Sir Pramananda, TGT Maths, Sainik School Imphal. With this, I would like to take the charge of conducting Interhouse English Debate Competition Junior Division. So, let us begin by calling out the first speaker for today's competition. First, I would like to call out Cadet Pawigai of Raman House to present his views for the motion of the house.
E-learning is like a rising tide. E-learning is like a rising tide. It's going to rise all the boats. A very wonderful morning, respected dignitaries, esteemed judges, all the staff members, Mr. Speaker, sir, and to all my brothers and sisters, and to all my dear loving friends. Today, on this auspicious occasion of Inter-House Debate Competition for Junior Wing, I, Cadet Pawigai Panmay of Raman House, would like to highlight for the motion of the House that is on the topic, e-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. As you and me knows, this e-learning, it is the sharing, it is the delivery of learning and training through digital resources. A very good example is there. For preparation of this debate, it is making it a non-beneficial resource. It is the users, it is we the people that is making a non-beneficial resource. This e-learning is also just the same as these drugs. This e-learning, it is a beneficial resource. It is a thing, it is a resource with many benefits. But we the people, but we the users make it a non-beneficial resource by misusing it. Mr. Speaker, sir, a thing having many benefits and we misuse it. I just want to raise a question. Is it correct to blame the thing? Mr. Speaker, sir, exciting graphics, attractive animations, wordings, and cool explanations by experienced teachers. It makes the visual learning much more better than this classroom learning. This e-learning, it is also a time-consuming as well as effort. Let's take a situation where we are reading a novel. When you're reading a novel, you'll come across some difficult words, some complicated words. What you'll do is that just take out the dictionary, find for it, and put it again after finding the word. And you'll continue your reading. And When you continue your reading, you'll again find another complicated word. You'll take up the dictionary again. Isn't it time consuming? So what we can do is that just take up the hand-sized device, just type on it, and a single click is needed, and it will automatically come up. Mr. Speaker, sir, the library that is filled with thousands and thousands of books. It is in my pocket now. What I have to do is just take out the hand-sized device and type on it, a single click is needed, and it will automatically pop up. Mr. Speaker, sir, this e-learning, it is also a healthy environmental friend, because the papers that are in the textbooks and in the notebooks that we are using, it is all made up of papers. But thus it shows that this classroom learning, it uses paper. But if we use this learning technology, e-learning, it will not use a single paper. It doesn't need a single paper. A single paper is not needed. This paper, as we all know, it is made up of plants and trees. We have to cut down these plants and trees in order to get that paper. Thus, it pollutes the healthy environment. But in the e-learning, we don't need a single paper. So, it is thus a friend of this healthy environment. And even if the papers are recycled, then it will use some kind of labor. Then, this e-learning, it shows that it is now proof that it is a friend of this healthy environment, plus it saves labor that is used in recycling of the paper. And as a last point, this e-learning, it is accessible and it is also reusable at any time, at any place. Suppose, like a teacher, an experienced teacher from foreign countries, teaches through this technology, e-learning. By uploading his teachings on a video in the social media, then anyone, anywhere can access through it. And the video won't run away just after it is uploaded in the social media, until and unless the sender removes it. So it shows that this e-learning, it also provides accessibility and also reusability at any place, at any time. In this last minute, I just want to ask the opponent bench, that in this speech, I have proved that this e-learning, it is much more better than this classroom learning. Is there any other better technology that is much better than this e-learning? If you have no proof, then we must take this e-learning as the best resource, as the best learning technology, and the motion of the House must be passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Cadet Maubigay. Next, I would like to call Cadet Arjun of Shivaji House to present his views against the motion of the House.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Principal Sir, Administrative Officer, Senior Master, Senior Masterman, teachers, judges, brothers and sisters, and my dear friends. I'm Cadet Songtham Arjun Singh, bearing a number 494 of class 9, representing Shivaji House. And today, in this Interhouse debate competition, I'll be speaking against the motion of the topic, that is, e-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. First of all, what do you all understand by this e-learning? It is nothing but learning done by using electronic devices, like providing education, training through internet. In classroom learning, there is physical interaction with the teacher, whereas in e-learning, it is just online interaction with the teacher using internet as a medium. When a student has some doubts in some topics and he wants to convey to a teacher, to whom would it be more easier for him to discuss his doubts? It is obvious that he will be able to discuss his doubts, problem more effectively with the teacher than interact physically. Because in a physical learning environment, the teacher and the student will have a deeper connection as they are interacting face to face, and they will know each other even better. Let's say, when a teacher is trying to teach a physics topic in online, since he can't do physical demonstration, he will show some videos about that topic from Google and will end the class by explaining some points about it. But if that teacher is to teach that topic physically, then he might perform his demonstration with one or two volunteers from the class. And by doing that, he will grab the attention of the whole class and will make the student an active listener, which will greatly enhance their knowledge, understanding about the topic. When the teacher asks the student to speak on a topic in online, one may speak the topic with an ease without any difficulty. But to speak that topic physically, he will have to go and speak in front of his friend. And the benefit of that is, if that student has stage fear, then he will get a chance to overcome it. And on top of it, his communication skill will be improved and his confidence will increase. Mr. Speaker, sir, will this kind of opportunity be available in e-learning? And if it is available, then will it be as effective as it is in classroom learning? If e-learning continue for a longer period of time, then what might be its impact on the student's life? There are many impacts, and one of the major impacts is the addiction to digital devices. This addiction might also become a lifelong addiction, which cannot be changed, which will never have a positive impact on the student's life, right? A person who got this lifelong addiction on these devices, his life will degrade and will lead to many physical problems, including hearing impairment, visual impairment. Mr. Speaker, sir, let's say when you are trying to join class through your PC and the light suddenly goes out, and if internet gets banned in your area, then how will you continue or join online class from your home? Is there any appropriate solution for that? No, there is no. And even a single phone call can distract a student during e-learning. So, I would like to conclude my speech,
including education. E-learning has emerged as a viable alternative to traditional classroom learning. E-learning has a wide range of learning resources, from video lectures, interactive quizzes, to discussion forums. Learners have a variety of tools at their disposal. Mr. Speaker, now talking about some of the advantages of e-learning, it is self-paced. Students who study online can make their own time schedule. Now, a question may arise to you that it could be too flexible for a student and may lead to wastage of time instead. But this can be easily tackled by planning for a week, as not everyone can stick to a plan for a month or two. Research has also demonstrated that self-paced learning has led to increased student satisfaction and reduced stress, thus resulting in efficiency, effectiveness, scalability, and accessibility. It is cost-effective. How so? Let me explain it to you by giving an example. The University of North Carolina, UNC in Charlotte, claims that it has managed to save $5 million in 2010 by just focusing on e-learning. Now, how could this be possible? It is due to the simple fact that they did not invest in physical premises. Virtual classrooms have no need for physical lecture halls, which tend to get very costly. It accommodates individual learning styles. Different students have different learning styles, and there can never be a one-size-fits-all types of solutions. This personalized approach enhances comprehension and retention, making learning much more powerful and effective. Data is the oil, and e-learning makes of student data much more effectively than any other forms. The full potential of data can truly be harnessed through e-learning. The world is overpopulating at an erratic rate, and with that, the problem of teacher scarcity has been identified. There are considerable benefits of e-learning in combating teacher scarcity. For instance, let's take a comparison. Regular universities have an average of 30 students per staff member, but e-learning courses created by one or more highly qualified and experienced teachers can serve thousands, if not millions of students. With the ever most competitive world, the need for textbooks has become a necessity. And with that, students are overwhelmed by the cost of books and thus leads to depression and stress. Here, e-learning provides the only solution to this problem. That is, it reduces the cost for textbook. The total value of the textbook industry is around $7 to $10 billion, with an average college student spending close to $1,200 on textbooks alone per year. Whereas in e-learning, hundreds and thousands and millions of books can be accessed on the internet through just a tap of a finger. Mr. Speaker, online learning cuts down the learning time by 25 to 60% as compared to traditional classroom learning. Mr. Speaker, I would like to conclude by saying that with the augmenting study in the field of science and technology, the future of a highly digitalized world is inevitable, and with it offering a much more flexible, accessible, and cost-effective alternative that can cater to the diverse needs and circumstances of the learners. Therefore, I firmly believe
Representing
that
Interhouse, and I'll be speaking against the topic, e-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. What is e-learning? E-learning is learning that takes place in an electronically simulated environment. First of all, did you enjoy e-learning during the pandemic? Or do you enjoy this present learning at schools? Well, I believe that you enjoyed e-learning during the pandemic. But has this enjoyment gave you any benefits? Well, it may be for some of the students, but maybe not. Now, why e-learning cannot replace classroom learning? It is because e-learning can produce better fruits than classroom learning can produce better fruits than e-learning. In traditional classrooms, teachers can give students immediate face-to-face feedback. And this makes the students feel more motivated. Mr. Speaker, what would happen if students who have completed regular assessments experience no personalized feedback? They become dissatisfied and feel demotivated. Now, Mr. Speaker, what would happen if students and teachers spend most of their time online? They experience social isolation due to the lack of human communication. Social isolation and lack of communication often leads to several mental health issues such as high stress, anxiety, and negative thoughts. Yes, it is true that e-learning methods are proven to be highly effective at improving the academic knowledge of students. However, developing the communicational skills of students is an area often neglected during online lessons. Mr. Speaker, if there is no face-to-face communication between peers, students, and teachers, what would happen? The students might find that they are unable to work effectively in a team setting. Mr. Speaker, what is going to happen if... Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest disadvantages of e-learning is cheating through various methods. As compared to traditional learning, cheating is much more easier in e-learning. For example, creating a WhatsApp group which is essentially meant for test answers. The students cannot be directly observed during online assessments without a proper video feed, making cheat detection during online assessment more complicated than for traditional testing procedures. Mr. Speaker, if e-learning is to be considered as effective and authentic as traditional learning, it must be ensured that all online schools are qualified and accredited. Unfortunately, at the current point in time, there are still a vast number of online learning platforms which are still unaccredited and where all the materials are quality checked by no one besides the instructor themselves. As such, lack of accredited learning providers continue to weaken the legitimacy of online education. As a conclusion, I would like to say that online learning is inaccessible to the computer illiterate population. Despite the booming growth in technological capabilities, the computer literacy rates are still far from perfect. The OECD average percentage of computer illiterate people hovers around 25%, meaning that a quarter of the population will have considerable trouble accessing e-learning as an educational method. Mr. Speaker, what would happen if e-learning... Sorry.
First of all, what do you understand by e-learning? To put it in simple words, e-learning is the delivery of education and training to the students through electronic devices with the help of the internet. And yes, I strongly agree that e-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. And why, you may ask? Here, let's consider a case. See, the distance between your home and your institution is a tremendous stretch. It will take a long amount of time for you to just reach your campus. So everyone, in this kind of situation, will you be willing to travel these long distances just to sit in the class for 5 to 6 hours? Well, you can just join an online class from the comfort of your own home. Which one will be the more convenient option for the students? It's obvious. In fact, one of the most biggest boundaries of traditional education is the distance. A long distance is a main problem for millions of students who are accessing higher education in our country. E-learning breaks the barriers of traditional education. With e-learning, you can join an online class from almost anywhere, and anyone can have access to this platform regardless of their physical location, thus making e-learning a more convenient and accessible option for the students. Here, a question comes up: if which one of the two options is more effective when it comes to the student's academy? Here, many of you will simply agree that classroom learning will be more effective. But let me tell you the truth. According to a report by HRE, by class 10, only 39% of the total population of students in India are able to reach the required level for year standard. Mr. Speaker, sir, if this e-learning is that effective, then why there is still so many students lagging behind in their classes? You see, in a particular classroom, many students simply don't understand what is being taught in the class, as the class may just go at a much faster pace than they could understand it. To this problem, you might say that the student can just approach the teacher to clarify his doubts. Problem solved, right? But no, that's not the case. You see, in a normal school, teachers are not present 24/7 to assist the students. A teacher has hardly got around 5 to 6 periods per week, with a very limited time of around 40 to 30 minutes per classes. In this limited period, it is physically impossible for the teacher to clear each and every single doubt of every single student. But with e-learning, the students can easily clear all of their doubts with the internet. With the internet, you will have an access to unlimited amount of information about a given topic. You can watch multiple explanations on the topic, and not only that, you can go on with the topics again and again until finally and fully you understand it. With e-learning, you can learn. With e-learning, you can learn at the pace and time of your own convenience. And finally, here comes the price. Mr. Speaker, sir, will I be at wrong if I say classroom learning is expensive? You see, traditional education takes up large amount of money as tuition fees. But with e-learning, and add in the cost of class, and add the cost of uniform, books, course materials, travel, accommodation, and the price actually becomes much expensive. But how much do you think it will cost for a smartphone or an internet connection? The point is obvious here. E-learning is not only a much more cost-effective and affordable option for the students, but it's also much more accessible, effective, and convenient for the students. And that's the reason why e-learning is the absolute substitute for classroom learning. With this, I'd like to conclude my speech here. Thank you everyone for the kind presence.
Through electronic means, through the virtual world. And as for classrooms, we all know what it is. Now coming to the point, Mr. Speaker, sir, e-learning may theoretically sound very effective or advantageous or very beneficial. But in practical, we all know the results. You and I know how much effective this e-learning is. We are evident. We have learned almost nothing from what we were taught during the online classes in those 2 years. A very popular and factual saying, experience is the best teacher. But can this experience be gained online? To gain experience, we have to do the works ourselves. We have to be in physical contact with the work. An ambience, a physical presence is required, not some clicks on the keyboard. Experiential learning is one of the most engaging and effective forms of learning. But can these experiments, practicals, or interactions be done online? Can you imagine an e-learned soldier, or an e-learned doctor, or an engineer? Just theories and virtual demonstrations are just not enough for a real-life job. Experience is needed to tackle different real-life scenarios and situations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the only thing that matters in education is the people. We got so focused on building technologies and e-learning that we have forgotten about the one and only thing that matters in education, the people. Education is not limited to just completing the syllabus. It also includes discipline, manners, morals, and interactions with other students and the teachers. Mr. Speaker, sir, if courses were to be taught purely online, then there is less possibility for a student to have a good relationship with the teachers and other students. This will have a negative impact on the students' team building skills and social skills. Moreover, online learning requires a higher intensity of self-direction and motivation. So, students who are really focused on their education and who are more disciplined will get good results. But not all students are really focused on their education. Mr. Speaker, sir, how can we expect that 100 out of 100 students will get access to e-learning? 70% of our population live in villages, and a majority of our population falls below middle class. So, online learning will only create a digital divide where rich get access to all and the poor are deprived of learning. And I don't think that's good at all. Mr. Speaker, sir, my friends at the Treasury bench may say e-learning is very convenient. We just have to sit at our homes, watch some videos or demonstrations or join some conference. But I beg to differ. What if the internet shuts down? What if the hardware malfunctions? Or what if the connection is slow? What can we possibly do in such situations? Mr. Speaker, sir, let's stop for a moment and think about the health of the students. Sticking our face to the screen for many hours a day will do no good. Many health issues will arise. Eye strain, headache, backache will be the most common ones. And the health effects does not end here. It goes the same for our mental health as well. Lack of human touch will lead to depression for many students who are really struggling with their education process. As a conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, e-learning may sound favorable for the future, but let's be realistic here. Subtle changes here and there are natural for traditional classrooms. But replacing the whole system with e-learning will take time and will do no good. So I stand against the motion of the House, and the motion of the House should not be passed. Thank you.
Classroom, Namro, I call it a mini zoo. A really good morning, respected administrative officer, senior master, jury of appeal, brothers, sisters, teachers, my worthy opponents, and my dear friends. Standing in front of you, I, Cadet Naram Anthony, bearing admission number 4211 of Class 9, Tagore House, would like to stand for the motion of the House, which states e-learning a substitute for classroom learning. E-learning, also known as online learning or electronic learning, is the acquisition of knowledge through electronic technologies and media. It can include any type of learning, training, or education that takes place in a digital platform. It is typically conducted on the internet, where students can access their learning materials wherever and whenever they want. It has become increasingly popular in the past few years due to its convenience, flexibility, and affordability. Well, the term e-learning has only been in existence since 1999, when the word was first utilized at a CBT system seminar. But it has been there since long. The first ever online learning systems were really only developed to help deliver information to students. But as we entered the 80s, online learning became more interactive. Many schools, colleges, and universities were keen to take advantage of e-learning. By early 90s, schools had begun to set up that delivered information and courses online only, making most of the internet and bringing education to people who previously wouldn't have been able to attend a school or college due to geographical or time constraints. With the introduction of the computer and internet in the late 20th century, e-learning tools and methods expanded, with people getting exposed to a wealth of information online and e-learning opportunities. E-learning is not only restricted to classroom or online learning, it is widely used nowadays in the field of medical, business, engineering, etc. For example, let's say, take a world-renowned doctor from the US with a hectic schedule is not able to come to India and teach aspiring doctors. But with the help of e-learning, it becomes possible. In a fraction of seconds, they are able to connect and communicate. E-learning is not all rainbows and sunshine, it has its flaws too. The first and the most common being the availability of internet. Yes, internet is not accessible to everyone yet, but as we are developing, internet has become a crucial part of our day-to-day lives. People understand its importance and is being made available in most of the places. And after some decades, I believe it will be there. It's become the breeding ground for unnecessary topics, debates, and politics, which can easily be avoided in e-learning. They also become the ground for exhibiting power, distance between two individuals, the teachers and students at times, which can impede knowledge transfer. Also, studies have proven that students who indulge in e-learning have better productivity and concentration. Not only this, but traditional methods of classroom use up 90% more energy than e-learning. Summing it all up, physical barriers are broken through e-learning. The use of graphics, sound, text, and images help students understand and grasp any subject better, which makes them feel more involved. The benefits of e-learning have showed us a promising trend, and it is not only a potential substitute, but the future of education. Thank you everyone, and have a marvelous day ahead. I, Nora Anthony, take my
The digital era has undeniably revolutionized education. But suggesting that e-learning can substitute classroom learning is surely a funny thing to say. The classroom learning environment fosters essential interpersonal skills that e-learning simply cannot replicate. The interactions between students and teachers, the personalized guidance, the discussions, the debates, and the collaborative projects are all essential in having communication, teamwork, and critical thinking skills. These interpersonal skills are not just beneficial for academics, but are essential in the real world, where often success relies on effective communication and collaboration. Moreover, this classroom learning environment provides a space for discipline and structure that enhances the learning experience. The interactions between students and teachers, the personalized guidance and support tailored according to the student's need. This creates a dynamic learning environment in which students can ask their question, clarify their doubts, and their knowledge deepens. Mr. Speaker, most of us think that classroom learning only refers to academics, but it also refers to physical training. Physical fitness allows for Studies have shown that physical fitness improves our concentration and attention time span. It also helps in reducing the disturbing behavior of one. It also helps in improving self-motivation. All of these aspects, e-learning doesn't have. Talking about all of this, let's not forget the issue of accessibility and equality. Unfortunately, the e-learning technologies are unknown to millions across the world, especially those who come under the poor section and in the remote area. Because of this, it has created a kind of a digital divide where the rich have the access to all and the poor are still behind. Whereas in classroom learning, it tries to create the same starting line for all and equal access to education, regardless of their socio-economic background. Mr. Speaker, if e-learning, we may come across some learners who are doing good in their work, but still aren't successful. That's where my gem, classroom learning, comes. Learning is not only about gaining knowledge and a set of skills. It is also about enduring values, morals, ethics, and social skills. Social skills. This was also the main motive behind learning. Classroom learning provides a space for mentorship, character building, and emotional support that is irreplaceable. In these environments, students learn how to forge their friendships. Students learn how to understand the complexities of human relationships. Mr. Speaker, if e-learning is really a better form of learning, then what am I doing here? Why are we having this debate? We could all have easily done it in an online seminar, but no. Our parents and us think and believe that classes shall be held physically, as it is much better than e-learning. Mr. Speaker, if learning really transformed into e-learning, then some may be self-isolated. A current example is happening in Japan, where due to lack of physical interaction, people are being left out from the societal activities, which has led to self-isolation. Due to this, it has also led to many suicidal cases in Japan. As the previous speakers against the motion has said that e-learning saves a lot of paper and a lot. But it also occupies a lot of data server, and the cost of maintaining the data in the server are a lot than the loss of the paper cut. Mr. Speaker, the richness of the classroom experience, the personalized guidance, the support, the holistic development it provides are indispensable elements of a well-rounded education that cannot be replicated by screen alone. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, e-learning is absolutely a substitute for classroom learning. It is not merely a question, a statement, it is a fact. It is a well-known fact that e-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, can you assure me that in a traditional classroom environment, the teacher doesn't make mistakes? A student who writes the answers of questions doesn't make mistakes? The person who is correcting these questions, these answers, doesn't make mistakes? I don't think so. Well, in e-learning environment, it can be assured 100% that there are no mistakes made. It is more faster, more accurate, more reliable, precise, and to the point. As my friend, my dear colleague Nepusana has already said, that it goes with the pace of the student. Absolutely, it goes with the pace of the student. It doesn't go with the whole class. Perhaps, let's say, you have a fracture. Perhaps you have a disease. Perhaps you have at your hands a deadly pandemic, which happened 2 years ago. As my brother Alex Nam has already said, that COVID-19 pandemic struck us 2 years ago. During that span of 2 years, if we did not have e-learning as a substitute, would we be here? Would not all of you would have been skipping classes 2 years? We would have missed the classes. I do agree, Mr. Speaker, sir, that there are students who have not been as judicious as they should have. But is it the fault of the system, or is it the fault of the practitioner who practices it? Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to ask this question to all. Is it the fault of the system which is perfectly fine, or is it the fault of this practitioner who practices it wrong? Mr. Speaker, sir, e-learning may not be available to everyone right now. Right now, I do agree. But I'd like to enlighten the judges and say that a new program, Starlink, has been initiated by SpaceX, by which across 60 countries globally you have access to internet. Now, that's only in 60 countries right now, but it is being further developed. So, in the near future, Don't you think that we can have access to e-learning? Everyone present here. E-learning is more reliable, more accurate than classroom learning. That is a fact, and no one can argue that. E-learning is the way of the future. With time, we need to change. With time, we need to evolve. We need to adapt. Have we not adapted ourselves? Have we not changed with civilization? Have we not changed our cars, our vehicles, our buildings we live in? So why can't we change the basic fundamentals of education, of learning itself? The core thing from which everything develops. Why can't we change that? Why can't we take it to the next step? Change is very hard to make, but once it starts, it's going to be very easy to evolve. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, again, I have to repeat the point that with time, we need to change, we need to adapt, we need to evolve. Mr. Speaker, sir, e-learning is the way of the future. It is the next wave of education. In this last minute, I'd like to brief my points. E-learning is more faster, more accurate, more reliable than classroom learning. That is a fact. E-learning is more accurate, more faster. Perhaps let's say you have at your hands information which needs to be passed from Delhi to here, but because in traditional classroom environment there's lack of distance between Delhi and here, it's going to be time taking for the information to arrive. E-learning is fast. With your mobile phone or with a few clicks, you have the information in seconds, not even seconds. Isn't that wonderful? With that, I'd like to conclude my points. Thank you everyone.
Anish Hagebam, 4-1 Oxford of Subhash House last night to present his views against the motion of the House.
Good morning everyone. I hope you had a really good day, especially respected principal sir, senior master, learned judges and teachers. Recently, we all have witnessed a pandemic that took the lives of millions. To avoid a tryst with death, the government came up with a solution. And yes, the solution was the introduction of the online system of learning. And as we all know, in this system of learning, the students used to interact with the teachers through electronic devices. And today, at this spot, I, Dennis Kangemong of Class 9, representing Shivaji House, will prove that e-learning can never substitute classroom learning. How, you ask? Okay, I hope everyone here has been to an online class, even if it's just for once. But, has anyone ever joined the class seriously? I don't think so, and I'm stating this because I have experienced and have also seen people who have experienced the same thing. I have a friend who's sitting with us right here, right now. Whenever the teacher asks him, "Why didn't you join the class?" he used to say, "Technical problem, sir." I don't know if the technical problem in this situation was real or not, but I can say that technical problem is a real thing, and more than 3.5% of the total student population in India drop out of their school just because of this problem. Now my question is, should they be deprived of the right to be educated just because of this problem? Okay, let's just say that the 3% is a very less population as compared to the majority. But I can assure you this, that out of the majority, only a number of them joins the classes seriously. Even those who joined the class seriously got distracted just because of the mobile phones. But you know what? The classroom system of learning has very less distraction as compared to this e-learning. In fact, it motivates the child to learn more. Just think of a situation when your friend works hard and becomes better than you. In such a situation, like it or not, but I know that you will work hard in order to go in par with them or even overtake them. This cue motivates the child to learn more, to stay focused and not to get distracted. Not only this, it also provides an interface for public speaking. Everyone, as you can see, I'm sitting right here, speaking in front of you all. Mr. Speaker, will this be possible if it was the e-learning system of education? Please tell me, will this be possible? Guys, will the person who is stuck in front of a screen whole day long be able to communicate properly, interact properly, or even make friends? To top it up, will his mental state be stable? I don't think so. And to avoid all this, we have the classroom system of learning, which not only facilitates public speaking, but also enhances the child's communication skills, learning skills, socializing skills, and even teaches the child how to behave properly. Okay, most of my fellow contestant members have suggested that it's very expensive. Yes, I agree with that. But this all the money we invest here goes down to drain. I'm a person who believes that knowledge is not the only thing that we require to live, to make a living. Also, my friend Nongpok Manga suggested that we require a lot of money to buy books. But let's be rational here. Can you guys focus when you read in mobile phones? I'm asking this because I can't focus there. Last but not the least, everyone, please spare some of your precious time and think, what kind of a person will you be if you grew up without this e-learning? Will you be the same person who's sitting right here listening to my speech? I don't think so. And a question for the speaker. Please tell me that if e-learning is that good, why are we still here? We all know that there's an ongoing violence that's taking place outside those walls. And how much will a broadband connection even cost as compared to the huge sum of money we are paying here? Okay, to conclude my speech, I state that e-learning can never substitute classroom learning. And I hope so that everyone here is convinced too. Thank you everyone for your kind recognition.
A warm good morning, ladies and gentlemen, respected principals, administrative officer, senior master, respected jury of appeals, Mr. Speaker, beloved teachers, and my fellow debaters. In this very good day, I myself, Gedet Ishan Kachumayung, emission number 4200 of class 9B, representing Tagore House, take this opportunity to present my views in strong affirmation for the motion of the House. As my fellow mayors have already elaborated what e-learning is, let me take it up a notch. We have already known that e-learning is the learning that is conducted through electronic devices such as smartphone, tablets, computer, etc., along with internet at any place at any time. Mr. Speaker, the worthy opponents had many false allegations. Now, allow me to open the ears and eyes of everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine sitting in a chair in a room full of other people. You look left, someone is dozing. You look right, someone is singing, "Love You Zindagi." Turn back, someone is solving maths in literature class. And finally, you look front to find the teacher looking funny. How will you learn or how will you focus in such an environment? So, if you are someone who prefers to learn alone or needs a certain amount of silence to concentrate, then e-learning is absolutely the best choice. Mr. Speaker, the opposition bench pinpointed a false claim that e-learning doesn't provide enough interaction between the teachers and the student. Well. How about physical learning? How many times have you ever interacted with the teachers in a class where one teacher is teaching hundreds of students? My worthy opponents, my fellow worthy opponents, you see the disabilities in e-learning, but I see the abilities of e-learning. With technology development and advancement, even when the student cannot attend e-learning courses, there is recording available for the missed class also. E-learning market is expected to reach $57.19 billion by 2028. So obviously, it's a great opportunity for the startups and small business to skyrocket the profit number. Even nowadays, the government is taking on many schemes, and in many villages they are providing smartphone, tablets, and internet, etc. Mr. Speaker, the opposition bench said that e-learning is more costly, but I like to say that e-learning is often more cost-effective. Students can save their money on traveling courses, housing, and other expenses. My worthy opponents, everybody is not rich like you, but e-learning is less expensive, making it more accessible to the students. student with limited financial resources. E-learning is more efficient as compared to classroom learning. Here, e-learning allows the teachers to give an effective way to deliver the lessons to students. It allows the teachers to utilize a number of tools such as videos, PDFs, podcasts, and they can use all these terms as part of the lesson plans. By extending the lesson plans beyond traditional textbook to include online resources, the teachers become more available to more educatives, efficient. Mr. Speaker, I have a question. Do you know the challenges faced when adults try to continue their studies? Who will solve their problem? Anyone? I guess e-learning is the ultimate hero to solve all problems for learning. E-learning is especially beneficial for the student who cannot attend traditional classes and other commitments for their private part-time work. They prevent them from attending the traditional classes. The world has already recognized that e-learning can transform people's knowledge, skills, and even performances. So, I invite everyone to join the club of e-learning with me.
E-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. First of all, what do we all understand by the term e-learning? E-learning refers to the type of learning that takes place in an electronically simulated environment. And as for classroom learning, it takes place in a classroom environment with physical interaction between the students and the teachers. I do hereby totally disagree with the fact that e-learning can substitute our traditional way of learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, will you agree on staying at houses built by engineers who have totally spent their years of graduation in online class with only theoretical knowledge and no practical skills? As for me, Mr. Speaker, I better sleep outside than to stay at those houses. E-learning lacks a potential of face-to-face interaction. It has a less possibility of building a good relationship between the students and the teachers. Students will not be able to adapt to new technologies, and moreover, they will not be able to join classes due to unreliable internet connections, difficulties with video conferencing platforms, and unequal access to necessary devices and software. Teachers will not be able to expand their thoughts and ideas raised by the students, and will not be able to encourage students to participate. Learners like us may have preconceived bias about new technologies that dull their confidence in all their abilities. Mr. Speaker, there are fewer external factors that lead towards the betterment of the student. In most cases, the students are left to fend for themselves, while the teachers doesn't even care about them. E-learning tends to have a lack of student feedback. Students completing regular assessments become dissatisfied when their works are being left without any personalized feedback. Classroom is a type of society. Mr. Speaker, when we grow, we live in societies. But for students and teachers who inevitably spend most of their time doing online courses, becomes symptoms of social isolation. Let's take an example for ourselves here. After the 2 years Corona break, were we able to stand up on the stage and speak for ourselves? No, Mr. Speaker, I don't agree with this. As for myself, I was not able to come up on the stage and speak out. E-learning is inaccessible to computer illiterate people. Almost 25% of the population, that is a quarter of the population, is illiterate in computer learning. Does it mean their future generations will not be educated? Does it mean that they will have to stay illiterate for their whole life? Sitting prevention during online assessment is almost next to impossible, Mr. Speaker. Here, all of the students seated over here, I'm sure all of them have seated during their online assessment. If their answer is no, then I can 100% bet against it, Mr. Speaker. During e-learning, many students bunk classes, sleep, join online games, or use social medias and many things. But in classroom learning, they are forced to join the class, but forcefully by the teachers. Mr. Speaker, there are many external factors that does not push the students in their learning goals. With this, I would like to conclude my debate by saying that education without value is worthless. Thank you, everyone.
Think about it. Being able to learn from a teacher a few thousand kilometers away from you, or being able to learn the same thing in a different way over and over, again and again, as much as you want, as much as you can, until you finally understand it. Mr. Speaker, this is e-learning. It allows students to rewatch videos, retake quizzes, replay educational video games, which has proven to further increase the quality of education. Students can discover their own methods of learning suitable for them, and therefore, they do not have to follow a common regime where everyone is meant to learn the same thing in the very same way. As my brother Janet Arjun has already said, that students lack communication with teachers, and therefore, they lack certain qualities. Now, obviously, e-learning has its own flaws, and I do accept it. There's nothing truly flawless in this world, and nothing can ever achieve such perfection. But mind you, most of the problems offered by e-learning have solutions within our reach. Don't believe me? A case study was conducted by some professors of the University College London, where the students expressed their views regarding the experience of online learning. They stated that it took much longer to learn through e-learning than through classroom learning. The students learned faster in the classroom. They explained how the lack of class interaction, personal contact with tutors, and visual stimuli limited their learning. In order to solve this, a few basic strategies were implemented, like initial bonding, initial face-to-face meeting, supporting continuous interaction and participation while offering various means of communication. And the result? Well, Mr. Speaker, it was found that the students were more motivated to learn. They were more enthusiastic. Though the results were not up to the mark, yes, but it does show us that the problems offered by e-learning have solutions within our reach. Of course, the students did complain about not being able to learn as fast as that of in a classroom. Yep. But it was found that they learn slower, but better. In other words, the students learn lesser breadth. The breadth of how much they learn was lesser, but still they learn more. They knew lesser things, but they know more about the things they do learn. The problems offered by e-learning have solutions within our reach. Instead of complaining about these problems, why not strive to solve them? We have solved many problems in the past, so why not these too? Speaking of the past, when we look back, there has been many changes in human history, and undoubtedly, many more are still to come. E-learning instead of classroom learning is one of them. The French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, the Print Revolution, these are some of the greatest changes in human history. Mr. Speaker, they were not left unopposed. Many tried to suppress them, but now we are where we are because of those changes. Some may say that when a change takes place, many people suffer for they are not able to adapt to those changes. And yes, it is true. But at the same time, it is no good reason to avoid change. All the changes faced by society were initially grueling, harmful, destructive, and sometimes even immoral. But later on, they proved to be the foundations of a new world, a better world. And now, it is our turn to sacrifice and bring about changes in society for the better of the human race. We are the next change makers. It is inevitable that we lose something when we gain another. It is up to us when we give up. Don't you think it's time humanity learned to embrace change? Don't you think it's time humanity finally stopped resisting changes which will bring about great things, achievements, miracles beyond comprehension? Change. That is the answer to how do we progress as a society. E-learning is that change. Here I conclude by saying that e-learning is the next page in the long book of the story of mankind. And the story is yet to end. So we should continue turning the leaves of the book one by one until we finally meet that end. And therefore, until then, Mr. Speaker, the motion of the House should be passed. Thank you, everyone.
E-learning becomes a substitute for classroom learning, then I don't think, even after leaving the school,
we will ever get the opportunity to sit next to a pretty girl in class. Well, jokes aside, most of the other competitors have talked a lot about e-learning and classroom learning, and I think everyone here knows more than me about these topics. So, we know that for e-learning to be successfully utilized, we require specific facilities. Facilities such as smartphones, tablets, PCs, internet connection, etc., which I don't think every section of the society has equal access to. Just think. There are millions of families out there who don't even know whether they will get 2 square meals a day or not. For them, do you think getting education through e-learning, is it possible? Does it mean they don't have the right to get education? No, right? And then there are situations when there is no electricity or there is no internet, like in Manipur during the conflict. Can I ask my opposition members, do they have an answer to the question whether these students will study or not? And then, I think that only privileged section of the society which has access to specific facilities can utilize e-learning. And I don't think jury members, e-learning provides equality to all. Yes, as my competitors have said, through e-learning, we can learn anything, anywhere, anytime. That's true. It provides a lot of flexibility and power. But students like me and you, just like politicians, should not be given any power because we will misuse it like it's nothing. I don't know about studies that was conducted in US, but I do know about experience. No one except for a few will study. You and I have experienced it during Corona, and we have suffered because of it. But in traditional classroom learning, even though we don't like it, even though we are forced, we at least learn something. And this something later on builds our future. And then there comes the problem of online exams. Everyone knows how easy it is to cheat in online exams. I have done it, most of you have done it, so let's just keep it between us. But it's a lot easier in online exams than in classroom exams. And then, through e-learning, there comes the problem of social isolation of e-learners. There's lack of development of social skills. They have less friends. They are glued to their mobile screens all day, living their lives online. And when they come back to the real world, they have social anxiety. They have less friends. And overall, their social life is just quite poor. But in traditional classroom learnings, we get a lot of opportunities to make new friends. Ugly friends, like those over there, who will make fun of you. Friends with whom you'll have fun, you'll enjoy. Friends that will make your life a memorable one. And then, through e-learning, yes, it's great for theoretical-based learning, but for practical-based learning, where we have to do things, to learn things, I don't think e-learning is the best option. Just think of our soldiers. Do you think they can learn through e-learning? They also have to sit in the classroom and learn. And then there comes, yes, I know that e-learning has a lot of advantages. Through e-learning, we can get access to vast amounts of information. It saves time and is sometimes quite cheap. But classroom learning, who said it's expensive? There are various schools and institutions established by the government where students can learn for free. Yes, different aspects of e-learning should be incorporated in classroom learning to increase the quality of education that students get. But I don't think it can ever replace classroom learning. Because inside a classroom, we learn about life. We learn about the real world. We make memories, special memories that will always have a special place inside our hearts, which I don't think e-learning can ever provide. So I would like to stand against the motion of the House and say that e-learning can never be a substitute for classroom learning. To all the learners out there, let's have fun, enjoy, study, and make memories inside our classrooms rather than staring in front of a screen all day. Thank you everyone, have an amazing day.
I, Cadet F. Boyko, representing Shivaji House, would like to speak for the motion of the topic. E-learning is a substitute for classroom learning. So, if you want to get more education beyond classroom learning, you took out your mobile phone, search a topic, and enhance your knowledge. It marks a clear example that e-learning is more effective, giving education than classroom learning. You know what? 73% of US students want online classes more than normal classes. And recent research shows that, on average, students all over the world retain 25 to 60% more education than classroom learning. Another study shows that it increases the satisfaction of students and reduces the stress, which results in improving learning outcomes. And I've come to know that learning small things on the internet make this learning 17% more effective. And I would say, e-learning provides learning to more people. Let's consider a case. Will the people from places where educational facilities are not available gain education without the help of teachers and information? No. But this can be fulfilled through e-learning. They can find all the information related to the courses, and additionally, there are also many free videos available on the internet which will help them on learning. And internet also provides different types of learning methods like visual learning, audio learning, reading and writing, and kinesthetic format. And if you are more comfortable learning visually, you can watch the videos again and again until you have understood it, like for me, difficult subjects like social science. And if you're more comfortable into listening, you can hear and learn the things in the form of audio. But this facility is not available in classroom classes. And I'd like to narrate a story. When I'm sitting in my classroom, I noticed that some of my friends rarely or never ask questions to teacher. This may be because of the reason that they are shy or constantly bullied by the classmates. This has made them learn more slower. But once they've got the access to internet, they clear all the doubts and questions from the internet. This has made e-learning stand a good chance of classroom learning. And my friend Danis Kangibam also states that e-learners lack discipline. But referring to all the people all over the world, there are many people who can't afford schooling. What about them? So, I would like to ask you something. How much money you have spent for your uniforms, your textbooks, and your education fees? That must be a huge amount, right? But International Business Machine claims that it saves around $200 million while learning online. And my brother Sanatoy also states that it lacks social communication, and e-learners face many isolation problems. But in the time of their online classes, in the pandemic, do you even feel socially isolated? Or do you even feel depressed? Or do you even feel socially excluded? No, right? E-learning has provided some supportive apps like WhatsApp and Facebook, which made us interact with different people all over the world. And I would like to say that e-learning has also some face-to-face interaction facility which made us feel like other normal classes. And you might say that students are not joining the online class. And I can say, this is not because of the learning style like online or offline. This is because of the teachers. If the teachers are boring, no one would join the class. Some would bunk, some would sleep, and some would never listen in the class. But if the teacher is highly inspirational, everyone will join the class, irrespective of what type of class it is. It is online class or offline class. And lastly, I would like to conclude by saying that e-learning has provided us many educational accessibility, which leads to the development of many opportunities of learning. And e-learning has taken our education to a new level. And I can clearly say that e-learning is a powerful substitute for classroom learning. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think today's topic is quite baseless and meaningless. We, not the whole world, we are the living examples of how much this e-learning has affected in our career. Suppose, if you came across a topic related with our previous classes, our teacher would go like, "Ayo, you haven't read those classes." But because of he is with us, he would taught us the same topic that was supposed to be taught back in those classes. The profession of a teacher and a student goes back since the human civilization started. Our earlier instinct around education is actually based on storytelling. People teaching other people's stories, people telling other people's stories. But now we have got beautiful scalable mobile phones that enable us to learn electronically. But somewhere between the gaps and the clicks, we are missing something that is quite important, and that's education. Mr. Speaker, sir, through e-learning, we might be able to learn some science, some maths, or some grammars. But in the future, it is not the only thing that matters. Student needs to interact with other people, with different kinds of people. Student needs to be exposed in the reality of today's world. They are to be able to counter any obstacle that comes in their life. An emotion, that sense of having a friendship, the relationship with our teacher. That part where the teacher guides his students is missing, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's true, and I agree that through e-learning, we might be able to learn something, but we will never be able to educate us. And that's when the difference between a literate man and an educated man comes. Can you possibly imagine of an e-learned doctor actually operating a patient? There will be his first practical class, and no one wants to be his victim or subject, right? Or can you imagine of a soldier who has learned how to handle weapons virtually? And it looks something like a virtual teacher with a virtual whiteboard advertising some virtual bullet points. Do you think that those soldiers could actually be effective in the battlefield, Mr. Speaker, sir? I don't think so. I strongly believe that learning through experience, a scenario, or that story-based learning is more engaging than click and quiz learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, please look into the cars back in 90s and the cars of right now. There's a big difference, right? Please look into the hospitals back then and the hospitals of right now. There's a big difference, right? But please look into the classroom that goes back up to centuries and the classroom of right now. We will only see a four-sided wall classroom, a teacher, a whiteboard, and the students. It is a fact that in this world, some things cannot be changed. Mr. Speaker, sir, back in our online classes, only 2 or 3 students were to be present in our first period. We would be ringing our friends, waking them up. Yes, you heard it right. Waking them up. Isn't that sounds funny? Do you actually think that the process of learning could possibly be like that? No, Mr. Speaker, sir. Without traditional style classroom learning, you have forgotten 60% of the content. Imagine without the presence of a teacher. Yes, you probably could, because you've experienced it and you've forgotten half the syllabus that were taught back on those online classes. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is an obvious fact and an experienced fact that e-learning will never be able to replace our classrooms and our teacher. And our teacher will never be able to replace by the computers in front of them. And with this, Mr. Speaker, sir, I strongly believe that the motion of the House should not be passed. Thank you, everyone. Let's spread peace.
Thank you, Cadet Boris. Next, I would like to call out Cadet Pauvigai Panbai for to speak.
And as for the debate, the topic is neither strong nor weak. Once again, thank you to all the performers. It was wonderfully performed by all the contestants. Now, we have come to the end of today's Interhouse debate competition for junior week. Once again, I would like to thank to all the dignitaries, beloved teachers, students of Science School Impal for your patient sharing. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to Cadet Srikanth for the prize distribution ceremony. Thank you.
Administrative officer, senior master sir, esteemed judges, and all my dear members of Science School Impal family.
A very good morning, respected principal, teachers, and official, and my dear teachers, my dear students. It's a very pleasurable moment for all of us three to be present here in the Interhouse debating competition of Science School Impal. All the contestants have given their best presentation, and the most important thing, and the most important quality that I have seen in you is that your confidence level. I am very impressed to see your confidence. Be it with you for the whole of your life with the positivity in your thoughts. And after so many years of chaos in our state, I'm very happy to see this situation of something very constructive for the sake of humankind. Thank you all with these few words.
able to participate and equally perform well. To all the participants, actually all of you have spoken very well and keep it up. Next year when you are in senior term, your performance will go up. Apart from that, there are certain suggestions which you all should focus into. But first and foremost is the aspect of giving a technique of rebuttal. Whenever you give a rebuttal, the people like for or against, you are supposed to note the point. Okay, so when you are in the debate, listen to the other audience, other participant, note down their point, at least 1 or 2, 3 points, and rebuttal on the stage itself. At least you will take 30 seconds to 1 minute only in rebuttal, whether for or against. Second point is, which we have already discussed, that flow of thought is required. If you will come prepared here by remembering it, the whole speech, you will tend to forget it. So it is always better that you learn it in your own language. Okay? Write it down on your own. Your thoughts will not break. Otherwise you have to memorize and suddenly you will be standing here and you will be forgetting things. Third thing in this type of debate is data. Data is the most important aspect. More number of data you will produce for and against, benefit or non-benefit of it, it will reflect that you have learned it. Otherwise it will become very theoretical whatever we are speaking. Then comes speak always in your own words. And at last, this is for all Sainik School cadet, whether you are in school or you go outside. Whenever you come to take prize, you are going to march and salute. There is no third way you will come to take prize and salute. So the next senior lot should be told about that. And the last point is Cadet Memota, very good, well spoken, at the spur of moment. In fact, all of you should have come and raised hand that you can speak. The idea of Sainik School is all of you should be confident. 2 minutes is good enough. For 50, 60 minutes, you are listening to so many cadets who have spoken so well. I expected actually all of you will be raising hand that will come and speak. We are not teaching you to become audience. Understood? We are teaching you to become leaders. And leaders are always ready to come and speak. Do not shy. Hope I am very clear with you all. No hearing of your yes sir. Again, am I clear to you? Yes! Now it is better. Thank you.